Okay, so we start with some music. We have a little bit of music. Then we have some ship sounds. Lights come up, and then the first group comes on.
America. 1,000 people a day.
1,000 new people.
Families, single men, single women, children.
1,000 of them a day.
Pour into our new country.
50 years running, 1,000 people a day. Poured into New York Harbor.
For a new life.
A better life. Another chance to reinvent themselves.
And from all over they come.
Ireland,
Germany,
Greece,
Russia,
Italy,
Scotland,
Hungary,
Egypt.
Turkey,
Denmark,
Romania, China.
Morocco.
From all over the world they come.
1,000 people a day for 50 years. Okay,
Reverend Grace to
music.
speak at Trinity Church tonight. Community meeting, 7 p.m. Be there. Reverend Grace, speak. Trinity Church. Here he is now.
We have a dangerous situation in our city. Children everywhere, orphans, neglected, abused, according to police, over 10,000 of them. In our streets, living like beggars, like animals. Good Christian people can no longer afford to turn the other way.
It's all the foreigners. They're ruining our country. Can't even take care of their own.
It's not their fault sometimes. A lot of them died in the fever epidemic.
those slums they live in, conditions beyond belief.
Whatever the reason for their parents being gone, alive or dead, they're in our streets, and we must do something.
Reverend, we have got orphan asylums, you know.
I do charity work there. They're doing a good job with those orphans.
But they're turning children away. All of them, even the convent orphanages. They're overflowing, and cannot care for a fraction of the children who are in our streets.
So we build more orphanages.
There's a better life for these children than the orphanages. To give them fresh air, the country, a clean, simple life with loving families, in the West and in the South.
You're saying farm families, Lana? Why?
How do you know?
I've posted notices in newspapers all over the West. There are thousands of good Christian farmers and ranchers whose families will take in orphans and give them good homes and a good life.
And so, the Orphan Train Project was born. The Reverend Grace raised thousands in donations for train fare for the orphans. Trainloads of children, mostly immigrant children, orphaned or neglected, ages 6 months to 15, leave New York every week for the West. 47 states and territories. For 75 years.
Woo-hoo!
April 1912, Orphan Train leaves New York for Port Joseph, Missouri.
All right, children, board the train quickly now. 3 to a seat. Make sure you have your bags. Vladimir, I told you, no extra things, just your clothes.
Please, Mrs. Tippett. It was my father's.
Where you're going, you won't be needing it. You'll have a new life.
I'm the oldest of 5. Mama and Papa were good to all of us, but Papa went to work at the docks one morning and never came back. Mama looked for him and asked around. Some say he was killed. We'll never know. We still were all right, though. We took in laundry and my brother sold papers. But then Mama died of fever after Gina was born. Then they came for us. I don't know where my 3 brothers are now. They promised they'd keep us together. They promised. And I promised Mama I'd never leave Gina.
All right, children. Come on, quickly now, without a word. Single file, in front of the train. Now, hurry. That's it. Good evening, ladies and sirs. I'm Agent Estelle Albright from the Children's Aid Society. I have papers on each child's age and background. Look, George. A little baby. I want the baby, George.
Ma'am, my wife, she gave birth to a stillborn about a year ago. Been wanting to adopt a baby off these trains ever since. This is the first baby we've seen off the train since a year. We'll take her, ma'am, and raise her like our own.
Her name's Jenna. We're sisters.
And where's your mother?
She died in childbirth. We've been at the orphanage for 5 months.
She's so beautiful. George, look at her, George. We'll We'll sign the papers now and go home with her. George?
But I promised my mama we'd stay together. Take me too, ma'am. Oh, I'll be good. I can cook. I can wash clothes.
George! Just a moment. Sir, madam. I'll take care of this. It's not a problem. Happens all the time when the siblings get separated. Now listen, Maria. I know this is hard, but these folks want Gina, and you'll have to let her go.
I promised my mama we'd stay together.
Maria, when we found you, all 5 of you, you were living in a storeroom of a sewing factory, full of filth and no food. The baby would be dead if it weren't for us.
Why don't they want me to?
Because their baby died, and they want Gina. Now, if you love Gina, you'll do what's best for her. Give her to these good people for them to raise her. Here you are, Mr. and Mrs. Singer.
That was the last time I saw my sister. The train went south to Arkansas, and I was adopted by an elderly couple who owned a small farm. They were kind, had no children of their own, and so they adopted me and gave me a wonderful life. But I had given it all up in a minute just to see my mother's face again, my sisters and brothers, for just one day. I was given a good life, but I never forgot that there was another me, a part of my past that was taken from me.
Okay, lights up. Musical interlude.
August 1914, New York Orphan Asylum. The train is scheduled to leave the next day for 3 cities in Illinois. The train will be full to make more room at the orphanages.
Why can't they stay at the orphanage, Mr. Clifford? Just till I get back on my feet again. Their mother's dead. I've been sick, couldn't work, but I'm almost better now.
This here's to certify that I'm the father and only legal guardian of Patrick and Michael Burke. I hereby freely and of my own will agree through the Children's Aid Society to provide them homes until they are of age. I hereby promise not to interfere in any arrangements they may make. Milo P. Burke. You need to sign here, Mr. Burke.
But I'm trying to tell you, Mr. Clifford, I just need to keep them a few more weeks. Please don't put them on the trains.
Mr. Burke, look at you. You've got consumption, sir. You won't last past Christmas. Now do what's best for your boys. I'll make sure they get good homes. Besides, when you left them here, they became wards of the city. It's for the best, Mr. Burke. Please sign.
And so Pa signed the papers. We told him not to worry, that even if they did put us on the trains, we'd find a way back to him.
Here, don't lose this, Patrick. Now write to me when you're settled. As long as you have this address, you'll always be able to find me.
Patrick Burke, get on this train now.
Hold on to that now. Keep it in a safe place. God be with you, Patrick.
Whistle
All right.
blows. Okay. Sorry.
All right, children, we're in Three Rivers, Illinois, and these fine families have come to give you good homes. File out now. Stand in a single line in front of a train.
Wait, Michael!
Get back in line with the others. Now!
But I lost an envelope! I need to find it!
You don't need any envelope for where you are now. This place will be your life. Get in line.
Never did find that envelope with my pa's address. Michael was adopted in Three Rivers, and I never saw him again. Then I got placed with a family in Nebraska. Never adopted me, just wanted cheap labor. That's about it. Wasn't bad, though. Learned to ride a horse, herd cows, grow crops. Never saw my pa again. I wanted to go back to New York as soon as I turned 16 to try and find him. My buddies talked me out of it. Told him he'd probably be dead, so I never went. But at night, I see Pa and Michael's faces. I hear Pa talk to me in his bro.
All right, music comes up. Transition. Orphans back on the train.
May 1915, an orphan train leaves New York for points west. Final stop, Kansas.
Who's Miss Billings? All right, children, we're in Germantown, Kansas, and the good families here have come to open their homes and hearts to you for wonderful new lives on their farms. Quickly now, single file. Stand on the platform.
What's your name, son?
It ain't son, and I ain't your son.
How old are you?
Not old enough to be left alone where I was.
Clara, this one's a character. Have you ever ridden a horse? Are you hungry?
This one's 14. Says his name is Chris Schultz.
Well, mighty Mighty pleased to make your acquaintance, Chris Schultz. How would you like to come back to the farm with Miss Lathy and me?
He'll accept, Mr. Lathy. Won't you, Chris?
Guess so. Got nothing to lose. Am I gonna go to school at all, or are you gonna work me like a dog?
Chris, you'll go to school and do chores and have fun, just like my other two children.
You got 2 kids? What do you want me for?
To give you a home, Chris. We'd like to be your parents if you like us. But right now, let's get home to some stew and biscuits. Okay, everybody off.
And that was it. Like I'd made this journey from my old life and gone to heaven or something. I've been in the streets my whole life, selling papers, living in a shed behind the tenement with the other paper boys. We was a gang. And that was my life for as long as I could remember. No mother, no father.
Why don't you wash up at the pump out back before we eat? There's soap out there and a wooden tub. It's already filled with hot water. Here. Ah! Arthur!
What is it?
Our Chris is not a Christopher, but a Christine.
What?
She's a girl.
No.
Go see for yourself. No, wait. Don't see for yourself.
I'm sorry. I should have told you at the train station, but I was afraid.
Of what?
That you wouldn't want me if you knew I was a girl.
How long have you been dressing like a boy?
Since I was 5 or 6. See, in the city, only boys can sell newspapers. They won't let girls. So I dressed up as a boy to get me a job at a newsstand. I ended up one of the best news hawkers in New York. Papers! Get your papers here!
Well, Chris, you can be a girl here with us. You'll go to school and live with us as one of the family.
And tomorrow, we go to town and get you some dresses.
And that was the first day of my new life. My life is Christine Lathy, daughter of Arthur and Clara Lathy of Germantown, Kansas. Even though I'd never been to school and was behind, I could read. I did well in Germantown High School and later on graduated 5th in the class of 1923. And to be loved by parents, Arthur and Clara, and my brother and sister Lester and Maggie, well, it was better than I'd ever hoped for myself how things could be.
Okay, lights up, transition. Orphans on the train. Go ahead, narrator.
And the orphan trains keep rolling, one every week, out of New York, Boston, Philadelphia. July 1918, Indiana. Orphan train arrives in Flint Ridge, Indiana.
Woo! Adults on? Adults on?
Good evening, everyone. The Children's Aid Society of New York thanks you for this opportunity. I am Miss Velma Scott, the agent in charge of these children, and I have names, ages, and backgrounds of each child.
What a sham! Get these foreigners' children out of our town.
Don't pay him any mind. Town drunk.
And ain't we high and mighty now? You hypocrites, the whole lousy parcel of yours. Adoption into loving homes and a pig's eye. You all want cheap labor for your farms, and she knows it, and she's letting you do it.
No, that's enough, sir. You don't know what you're saying. Hold your tongue in front of these children. You're scaring them.
Now, shouldn't they ought to be hearing the truth? At least you owe back to them.
Sebastian, you get on out of here now, before I tie you to my wagon and haul your sorry carcass to the jail, your second home.
Oh, I'll go, because I have no mind to stay and see. Oh my gosh, I love you. I'm sorry. I'll go, because I have no mind to stay to see these children handed over like cattle, you shameful hypocrites.
Grace, that's you. Oh, sorry. That's me. Sorry about him, ma'am. The name's Dobbs. My wife and I, we got 300 acres right outside of town. Plenty of room and fresh air for these orphans.
All we got were 3 daughters, and they're all married off and gone. Yeah, we do need help with chores. That's what we're fixing to raise a boy, love him like our own, and send him to school and such, and adopt him.
And any one of these boys would be suitable and delighted with a loving home as such you give them, ma'am.
And that's how everything went in Flint Ridge, Indiana. It was our 6th stop. The Dobbs took 2 boys with them. Then there were 8 of us left. After that, the rest of the girls were placed with families that night, except me. Was too old, the agent told me. 15 and they think you're too old. Could run away or steal from them or cause trouble. I've been at the orphan asylum since I was 2. Never knew my parents, no brother or sister. The matron said I had a tag that was written in German on my blanket. But all it said was that my name was Marlena. And that's all I know about where I Wish they had just left me at the orphan asylum, taking care of the little ones.
I'm sorry, Marlena. Oh no, sorry, that's you.
I'm sorry, Marlena. We got 2 or 3 stops on the way back to New York. Come on, we'll eat some pie together on the train.
Wait, my neighbor said there was one girl left, an older child.
Yes. Can I help you?
Yes, the name's Miss Maddie Wrighton, and I'd like to take the girl home with me, if I may.
Not meaning to be rude, ma'am, but the AIDS Society set an age limit on adopting for foster parents.
I'm a widow, to be sure, and in my 60s, but I'm well off and can give a good home to the girl.
I'm sorry, ma'am, but it's...
Wait, Miss Scott? It's all right. I'll talk to the lady, if I may.
Well, I suppose it would be all right. I'll be by the train if you need me.
I'm Marlena Breck, ma'am.
I'm Maddie Wrighton, my dear, and I'm pleased to know you. How old are you, dear?
15, ma'am.
And how long have you been an orphan?
All my life.
So you're alone in the world, are you?
Well, except for the orphan asylum, yes, ma'am.
That makes 2 of us. I'm alone too. Husband died 5 years ago. And my son, our only son, Albert.
Oh, he's handsome, ma'am.
Yes, he was. My boy died in the war over in France. My only child. My people, what's left of them, are all back in Delaware. I've been here since I've been 18, and they wouldn't know me.
You want me to come and live with you?
I have a nice house with a grocery and fruit market, does real well. And I want to share it with someone, Marlena. My life has had its share of tragedies and joys, and there's not a thing I fear in the world, not even death. But I do fear being alone. In life and in my dreams, I guess all women do. Alone on my deathbed. I don't want you as a maid or a nurse, Marlena. I'm in good health, still run my shop, and can afford to hire help if I want to. But to have a family again, someone to care about, to laugh with, to share, a dear girl like yourself to love. Sorry.
It's all right, Miss Maddie. I know all about loneliness, too. Seems like I'd be perfect for you. A younger child might be way too much for you.
So, Marlena, would you like to agree to live with Mrs. Reitman?
Yes, ma'am. I think Miss Maddie and I will get along fine.
You dear, dear girl. Thank you. I'll be a loving mother to you, to be sure.
All right then, ladies. Looks like divine providence has brought the 2 of you together.
Maddie was true to her word, and we had a wonderful life together. I was adopted and became Marlena Reitman, and lived with Maddie where we ran the grocery together until her death at the age of 81. And I enjoyed a rich life of a good marriage, children, grandchildren, and friends. A life in which I would never be alone, and Maddie was surrounded by her daughter, grandchildren, and friends at the end of hers.
Lights up. Train whistle.
May 1919, an orphan train arrives in Iowa.
All right, boys and girls, we're in Rock Falls, Iowa. The good people of this town have been looking forward to meeting you for a month now and giving you new homes. Be real nice and polite if they ask you any questions. Off now. Take your bags with you. Stand in a single file left.
It was scary. I didn't know what was going to happen to me. I had never been out of the city until now. The day we left, we were eating breakfast that morning, and the matron tapped me on the shoulder. "You're going to Iowa," she said. I told her, "I can't go. I'm not an orphan. My mother's still living. She's in the hospital." But there was no use arguing. They put me on the train that day. Never even got to say goodbye to my mother. "What's your name, boy?" Jakob Levitz." "How old are you?" 13. "You look like you'll do. Fairly strong looking, not puny." And that was it, like I was a horse or something. She signed the papers and we went to her farm. "Put your bag here. You'll be sleeping in the shed and you'll unpack later. Now listen here, boy, I ain't adopting you. This ain't your home, it's mine. My husband died 2 years ago and I've been running this farm ever since with 2 hired hands. You work for me, and I put a roof over your head, food, clothes, and I send you to school till you're 15. That's all I owe you. You earn your keep. You'll start school in a month or so. Till then, you'll work the crops with me each day." "What did you say your name was?" "Jakob." "Jakob? What kind of name's that?" "For me, a perfect name. It means Jacob." "Then we'll call you Jake. Easier to say. Now go on and take your things out to the shed." Oy vey. I slept in the shed that night, dank and musty, and I cried. She worked me like a mule. A mule? I should have it so good. The horse and the mule had better shelters than I did. And never a kind word, not one. I felt like a slave, like my people under Pharaoh. I wrote to the agency, gave the letter to one of her hired hands, who gave it to the town's mayor. He came by later that week.
Mrs. Stokes, ma'am, we've been getting reports that you haven't been treating that orphan boy right. Folks say you never let him off the farm. He sleeps in the shed.
He has food, clothes, and a roof over his head. I ain't mistreating him. He works for his keep.
Like your other two boys that ran off as soon as they could? One with pneumonia? You promised us, Mrs. Stokes, you'd give better treatment. We're taking the boy, ma'am.
Thank God for Mayor Cregan. They put me with another family, Edward and Myra Kurtz, an older couple with a small farm. Their other children were grown, so I was like an only child. They spoiled me. But as soon as I turned 18, back to New York, to home I went, back to my old neighborhood. Mama had died the year I left, I found out, and I got invited to live with a rabbi and his family. It was good to be back home, and I never left New York again after that. Lights out, whistle blows.
June 1919. An orphan train leaves New York and travels for over 3 weeks.
I'm so scared, Emma. Where did they say we were?
North Dakota. Medina, North Dakota. Well, Lord, it's cold. How can it be cold like this in June?
I feel like we're at the end of the earth. Like the train would fall off the edge if we went any further.
I hope someone takes us here. I just don't want to get on that train again. I'm so tired of riding. I want to wash my face and sleep in a bed.
They have to take us. There's literally hardly any boys left.
Oh, Justina, I hope we can stay best friends. Maybe if we stay in this town, we can see each other.
I pray to God we'll be able to see each other, Emma. You're the only person in the world who's dear to me.
Maybe if we tell them we're sisters, they'll take us both.
Miss Lyons would scold us for lying. She has the papers on all of us.
But we're sisters in spirit, Justina, so it ain't lying.
Here. Now you prick your hand. Now put our hands together. Now no matter where we go, we know that we'll always be sisters.
Hush now, children. The families are here. Line up, stand up straight, in your best manners now.
Well, here we go again. I was taken by a family in Medina that night. They wouldn't take Emma, though, no matter how much I begged. She's like my own sister, I said. We left New York together. Been on the train a whole month. But no. How she cried when we said goodbye. She got back on the train with Miss Lyons, the only orphan left. And they went west to Bismarck. I never saw her again. Years later, I wrote to the orphan asylum for her address. They wrote back, saying that she had died of pneumonia 2 years earlier in Bismarck. She always did hate the cold. She was only 16. I've never had a friend so dear to me as Emma. And those days of riding the orphan train stay with me, even now. At night, sometimes, it feels like I'm on the train again, with Emma.
I was happy, but the other kids at school would hiss, "You're adopted."
Even though they were nice, they were strangers. It was scary sleeping in a strange bed that first night.
I was adopted and my new parents loved me, but the other kids always referred to me as the orphan girl, little orphan Annie, they called me.
They got a letter from New York. It was from my father to see if I was all right. They hid the letter, and I didn't read it until 12 years later.
It's hard to explain. You're loved, and you know you're loved. Like one of their own.
But it's not 100%. Part of you separates you from them.
Makes you wonder, forever.
200,000 of us there were.
Went to New York after I was grown to ask for my records.
But they wouldn't give them to me.
Those records are sealed. You were adopted. Don't dwell in the past.
That's what they'd say to anyone who asked.
But we've a right to our past, to our connections with ourselves and where we came from.
And our roots are not to be thrown out like garbage.
I remember when I was little, back in New York, speaking Italian.
Yiddish.
German.
Russian.
And now forgotten, lost.
What was my last name?
Do I still have people there?
Is my mother still alive?
My father?
My brother and sister who were separated from me?
But we're all American, they tell us.
A big melting pot.
And we'd all help to stir the melting pot a little faster.
Who's 11? And if he were our own son, we could not love him more.
I always was, and still am, glad that I took that boy in and raised him.
We treated her like our own, and she gave us joy and made us proud.
No matter what I did for him, he was not happy. He was already ruined when he came to me.
I'm proud to have been an orphan train rider.
Lots of us turned out real well.
Found good homes. Not all of us now, but a lot of us.
Some of us even made our name for ourselves. Horace Scott, Governor of Alaska, orphan train rider.
Andrew Burke, Governor of North Dakota, orphan train rider.
William Bonney, outlaw, known as Billy the Kid, orphan train rider.
That's right. I, Hazel Romano Martin, wife, mother, piano teacher, orphan train rider.
Allison Martin Durant, daughter of an orphan train rider.
Aaron James Durant, grandchild of an orphan train rider, who went to New York for my grandmother's records.
Records found. Records to all riders finally open. Lineage found, ancestry traced.
Over 2 million Americans, descendants of orphan train riders. I, Hazel Romano Martin, proud of my family and proud of my heritages, proud and grateful for both. Our heritage.
Our roots.
And our orphan train brotherhood.
I don't know the song.
Yep, read it. Why don't you just read it?
Will the circle be unbroken? By and by, Lord, by and by. There's a better home awaiting.
In the sky, Lord, in the sky.
There are loved ones in the glory,
whose dear forms you often miss. When you close your earthly story, will you join them in their bliss? One by one their seats were empty, one by one they went away. Here the circle has been broken. Will it be complete one day? Will the circle be unbroken? By and by, Lord, by and by. There's a better home awaiting in the sky, Lord.